And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and I hope you are enjoying the Women's Rugby World Cup of 2025 in England. Pool play not will rarely ever have shocking results. There are a couple of one-sided games, true. But it still is a lot of fun watching some of the best in the world taking on the pitch. I'll admit this video is going to be a little bit more America-centric, as in it's focusing on obviously the upcoming USA match, taking on the number 7 Australia. Rankings have changed a bit. I'll go into further details of that. We're not going to go into too much detail as we're moving into the second week of the Rugby World Cup. I promise you, when we get to the knockout stages, we'll go a lot more in depth, even if, knock on wood, even if the United States gets knocked out and does not make the knockout stages. I will do an in-depth video of the knockout rounds and see if you remember the teams that I picked to make it into the knockout rounds, if they in fact make it. So let's dive into this. Obviously, before we get into the preview, we will do a little bit of a setup of what happened in round one. This prior weekend was not a good weekend for USA Rugby, as both the men's and women did not do very well in their matchup. Men, of course, falling to Canada in the first round of the Pacific Nations Cup, which, is... Again, it's Rugby World Cup qualifications. I will go into detail when I do my video on that. But not very good for the USA men. Women, again, we were hoping for the best, and it definitely was not as good a performance as I feel anybody who's supporting the women's Eagles would hope for. But England proving exactly why they're number one, taking out USA to the woodshed, 69-7. USA scored at least one try in this performance. If you watch the game, England really did outplay and outmuscle. That was kind of the surprising thing. Really outmuscled America, the United States, which I really felt they would at least have the advantage in the power game. But there were a lot of really hard-hitting tackles and a lot of pushing around by the Red Roses in this game. For America's credit, for USA's credit, we kept it a little bit competitive, at least in the beginning. We even scored the only try by Erica Jarrell-Cersei, which was a beautiful try. Hats off to her. Unfortunately, and I'm not saying this is completely the reason, but when Alev Kilter unfortunately got a yellow card for kind of a wishy-washy yellow card of tapping the ball down, that opened up the floodgates for the Red Roses, and they didn't look back, including a brace by the before-mentioned Ellie Kildune, who easily has proven why she is one of the best to ever do it on the pitch. She only had 2 tries in this match against the United States, but easily could have had 4 tries, set up 2 other tries to give off to her fellow teammates. There was some I think it was the second try where Ellie was able to bounce it off of her foot, keeping it in bound, picked it back up, and scored a try. I mean, again, she truly showed why she is one of the best players. She is the cowgirl of the Rugby World Cup. If you see when the Red Roses win, they do a little bit of a cowgirl dance, and she was dancing all over the USA Eagles. Also needs a shout out to Lark Atkins and Jess Breach. Jess Breach, very impressive as well, young talent. Both of them got braces. 11 tries in the end to the 1 for the United States. On a bright side, a record-breaking crowd for the Rugby World Cup for a women's match. 42,723 in attendance. That's amazing. It is... this Rugby World Cup is setting records with attendance and just really showing that women's rugby is making an impact on the world, and you love to see it. It's going to be great to see how packed Twickenham Stadium is. I do believe it might be sold out. If not, it's very close to being, especially if England and New Zealand make it back into the finals. But let's talk about this matchup. So now, as I mentioned before, it's number 9 USA taking on number 7 Australia. despite the fact that the United States lost and despite the fact that Australia won against Samoa, the results of the Scotland-Wales match moved USA up a spot, dropped Australia down a spot, surprisingly. And let's talk about Australia. If you want to talk about, and obviously right now it's looking like a two-horse race in Pool A with Australia and England. Australia destroying Samoa 73-0. Also scored 11 tries. Now, granted, it is Samoa, and Samoa, for their credit, played a very physical and demanding game. But just like with the England-USA match, Australia really showing just how much of a class above they are of Samoa. I'll mention a couple of names when we talk about the Australia preview, but there are a couple of players to really look out for when we talk about this USA and Australia match, and especially what they did against Samoa. So, USA-Australia taking place Saturday, September 30th. By the time we're filming this, which is today, Friday, that's going to be in just a couple of hours. 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. York Community Stadium in York. Again, if you're in the United States, you can watch this match and every Women's Rugby World Cup match live or on demand on Paramount Plus. I keep stressing they have a great deal going on right now. First 2 months, 99 cents per month. The Rugby World Cup only lasts 5 weeks. You can literally watch the Rugby World Cup for 99 cents. You can cancel. You don't need to worry about it anymore. And yeah, that's it. But again, you can also watch the currently going on Pacific Nations Cup. Hopefully the USA men's qualifies. You can watch all those matches. You can watch future rugby matches, I believe, with HSBC 7s. Everything's going to be on Paramount Plus, so you might as well get it. And like I said before, if you're a UFC fan, Paramount Plus is going to have all the UFC events, no more pay-per-views in 2026, so you might as well get Paramount Plus. If you're not in the United States, Rugby Pass, I believe, has all the Women's Rugby World Cups. Now, not going to go into detail of the rosters for both of these teams, but USA and Australia, this will be the second time that they played off against each other this year. Last time was in May as part of the Pacific 4 tournament that involved Australia, USA, New Zealand, and Canada, which, of course, New Zealand just barely won. Australia and USA had a very, very close game, 27-19, actually much closer than it looked like on the scoreboard. By the half, it was Australia was only up 19-14. USA just could not score a try after that, and I was able to score just one try, and they were able to get within 3 points, 24-19, but then a penalty kick by Australia pretty much put it away. So it was a very close match. USA and Australia have faced off against each other 9 times. The United States has won 6 of those times, but in the recent last 4 matchups, it has been dead even 2-2. So Australia has been catching up with the United States. This will be a very interesting one. Of course, with the results that have just happened, with Australia winning the commanding win, USA losing to England, USA has to win this match in order to have a chance of passing into the knockout stages. If you don't know, in the Rugby World Cup, 2 top teams in each pool move on. Obviously, England will probably move on in this pool. Who joins them? Is it going to be USA or Australia? This match has a good possibility of determining that. But USA also has to make sure that Australia does not get at least 1 bonus point in this game. And USA, it would really benefit them if they can get the extra bonus point for having at least 4 tries, because Australia got 5 points for their dominating performance against Samoa. USA did not get any points against England, so they need at least to get a bonus point win, 5 points, to give their chances of passing into the knockout stages some legit hope. If Australia gets at least 1 bonus point, meaning they can lose within 7, or if they score 4 tries themselves, which I'm thinking this game is going to be a high-scoring affair. That's a very big possibility. So USA really needs to make sure not only do they get a bonus point, but they have to prevent Australia from getting a point. I'm going to bring up the rosters of the team. I'm not going to go into much detail like I usually do with them, but I will point out a couple of key players. This is USA roster first. Not too much different than the one that played against England. The only real big difference that I would like to point out with the obvious omission of Alev Kilter, I don't know if she's hurt, but it is kind of interesting that she's not on the roster, starting 15 or on the bench. But is the fact that USA are bringing two players that I feel could easily be game changers. On the wings, we have Erica Koulibaly and Sheda Emba at number 14. Erica Koulibaly right here, phenomenal player. Discovered her as the rest of the United States did with the WER. She is dynamic, exciting to watch, fast as lightning. This will only be her fourth cap if she plays. She has been struggling a little bit with injuries. She hasn't played with the USA Eagles women since the Fiji game back in July. So it's great to see her back in the lineup. And then number 14, Sheda Emba, USA 7-star as well. Again, the combo of her and Koulibaly, I feel you have a 1-2 punch on the wing. That was something I think the United States kind of was lacking in the game against England, but it could have been they were focusing on a completely different strategy. But it does feel like the strategy with this one by Siona Fukufuka, the head coach of the United States Eagles, is to score fast, score as often as they can, and it will be... Something would go wrong with the United States game plan if Koulibaly and Emba do not at least score a try apiece between the two of them. Sheda Emba also has been struggling with some injuries. She hasn't been playing. She hasn't played with the Eagles since the first match with Canada back in, I believe that was in June, in the Pacific Four competition. She's also been struggling with some injuries. But it's great to see those two in the lineup. And now let's bring up the Australia lineup. And the reason why I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair is because you have the team-up of Koulibaly and Emba taking on some very explosive players for Australia. I got to point out number 11, Desiree Miller. She had a hat trick against Samoa. Super fast, very talented. Funny little piece of history. Her very first international try was actually against the United States in 2024 during the Pacific Four Nations. So kind of it's a full circle thing here. Desiree Miller taking on the team that she got her very first try in. She scored 3 against Samoa, as I mentioned before, so already starting her Rugby World Cup campaign with a nice little bonus there. Also, too, Desiree Miller, very young, very, very talented. She also will have another young, talented player, Caitlin Hulse, number 15. She is noted as the youngest ever Wallaroo to ever suit up on the national scene at just 17 years old. She did that last year. She's now also the youngest Wallaroo to ever suit up for a Rugby World Cup at just the age of 18. That is truly, truly amazing. She also had a brace against Samoa, so she is going to be one to watch out for. Again, I feel it's going to be the speed versus speed. Desiree Miller, Caitlin Hulse taking on Koulibaly and Sheda Emba. I feel this is going to be a very high-scoring affair in this match. Also got a shout-out to Samantha Wood. She did phenomenal off the tee in the matchup against Samoa. 6 for 8 off of the tee. No penalty kicks, so I don't know how accurate she is under pressure of the penalty kick, but those conversion points are going to make a difference, I feel, in this game, because I feel this game will be a close one. High scoring, which again doesn't bode well for the United States because they can't allow Australia to get too many bonus points, if any. But yeah, I think this match is going to be pretty high scoring in it. So we'll see how it is. But again, it's pretty much a winner go home for USA. USA has to win this match. Like I mentioned before, this match will be on Paramount Plus live Saturday, September 30th, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. I was originally going to do a watch along. Unfortunately, life has kind of got in the way, so I won't be able to do it. So I'm completely sorry about that. I am hoping to do at least one watch along during the Rugby World Cup knockout stages. I'm not going to be able to do the USA Samoa one because that starts at 5:30 in the morning for me. I do value my sleep, but I will probably do some sort of watch along during one of the knockout stages. I'll figure out which one in the future. But That's it. A pretty short video because, again, just previewing this one match. As I mentioned before, I will go a little bit more in depth when we get to the knockout stages. Again, I really do hope you guys are enjoying the Rugby World Cup. Let me know what you thought about week 1. Again, pretty, no surprises in it. I feel week 2 as well. This is easily going to be the biggest match of week 2. Week 3 tends to be a little bit more interesting because then you have more of the top tier teams going against each other to see who finishes first and second in the pool. But yeah, this is gonna be a big one for the USA Women's Eagles. So again, please watch, please support. There's a lot of watch along parties in different bars and pubs all across the country. So if you're interested, look up World Rugby on the Instagram, and they have a bunch of different watch along party locations. So you can watch along with a lot of USA Eagles fans, just like yours truly. So again, thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the pitch. Go USA!